Today, the FOMC raised our policy interest rate by 75 basis points, and we continue to anticipate that ongoing increases will be appropriate. We think we have a ways to go. We have some ground to cover with interest rates before we get to that level of interest rates that we think is sufficiently restrictive. I've also said that we think that the level of rates that we estimated in September, the incoming data suggests that that's actually going to be higher, and that's been the pattern. There's no sense that inflation is coming down. It just, if you look at I have a table of the last 12 months of 12-month readings, and there's really no pattern there. We're exactly where we were a year ago. I don't have any sense that we've over-tightened or moved too fast. I think it's been good and a successful program. That we've gotten this far this fast. Remember, though, that we still think there's a need for ongoing rate increases, and we have some ground left to cover here, and cover it we will. What we would expect by now to have seen is that as the supply side problems had resolved themselves, we would have expected goods inflation to come down by now, long since by now, and it really hasn't. Although it has come down, but it's not to the extent we had hoped. At the same time, now you see services inflation, core services inflation moving up, and I just think that the inflation picture has become more and more challenging over the course of this year, without question. That means that we have to have policy be more restrictive, and that narrows the path to a soft landing, I would say.
Markets had rallied a little bit in recent weeks on this idea that the Fed was going to pivot, or that we would somehow be less aggressive on interest rates. And once again, just as happened at Jackson Hole back in August, Powell had to dash those hopes. He had to kind of come out and be pretty blunt about the fact that interest rates are still going to go up, and that eventual stopping point is more likely to be revised higher than lower. In other words, they may be raising rates in smaller chunks, but where they eventually stop raising rates has moved higher throughout 2022.